Alright guys, today we are going to look at your Pokemon investments. That's right, there's a lot of talk about your Pokemon investment going to zero. There's this 9.1 billion Pokemon cards that were printed, and what is going to happen with your investments and opportunities as this year continues to move forward. So guys, if you're new here, hit that subscribe, hit that notify, and last but not least, hit that like button. Guys, we get 75 likes in this video. It's greatly appreciated, helps out a ton, and of course, it's free for you, so be sure that you hit that like button before you leave. Also, just a reminder, on Saturday we have a Rip and Ship, of course, at 9 p.m. Central Time here on the channel, live, where we'll be opening up Pokemon cards. You can purchase beforehand in the link below, or you can wait until the day of and purchase then. The link will be available then too. If you just want to come out, hang out, and chill, you can also do that. It's fun to have everybody on board and just kind of have a talk and have some fun. Open up some Pokemon cards, hopefully find some alternate arts, and have a little bit of a blast doing it. So, if you're interested in that, be sure to hit the link below, or just join us on Saturday and join in on the fun then. Also, we're going to go ahead and break down what is happening in the market and what have we historically seen. Now, guys, historically, we have seen some completely different things than what we have now. I understand that there's a lot of people inside of this, and I think most people understand there's a lot more people in the hobby than there was back in 2015, 16, 17, so on. We did have the Pokemon Go boom. We had a lot of things go on back then also that had some really good potentials, and we didn't really see a lot of these potentials happen until October of 2020. A lot of these things sat for a long period of time, and today we are going to look at a few sets. I got 5 of them pulled up here all the way from XY all the way up until the last set in Sun and Moon, and we're going to check to see what actually happened with these sets and how did they perform after, number one, when they were released, to when they went out of rotation, and I actually take the opportunity to take a look at see, were these sets investable back then? At what point did they become investable, or would you think that they would have became investable? And we will make that call as we go through these. So, the first one I got up here is going to be XY Roaring Skies. That's right, I got XY Roaring Skies next to me here on a graph, and this graph shows you what has happened with XY Roaring Skies since its release in May of 2015, all the way through until today. Now, the interesting thing is that this is what I fear is going to happen with sealed booster boxes. And this is historically what's happened to it. This is what happened back in 2000, and when I was in it before, this is what's happened since, is that these products get all hyped and FOMO'd. They do extremely well. Roaring Skies is one of those sets. It was one of those great potential sets that did extremely well and had a lot of up-down movement. And I wish this graph, it's missing 2015. It didn't start until almost the end of 2016 on this graph. There just wasn't enough data back then at that point and a lot of these sites to get that information. But the fact of the matter is that I know for what I've talked to other people and from discussions that the Roaring Skies actually had a lot of upward movement. It was a really, really popular set. Had really good movement. It got up to like 160, 170, and then it would drop back down because they do a reprint, come back to 100, then it'd do the same thing. And then finally, Pokemon just went and doused it with a reprint and completely buried it in product, thus bringing it down to around that $85, $90 range. And as you can see on the chart, guys, it didn't move much. From 2016 all the way up until 2020, it did not move. Once again, that's what we see on a lot of sealed product. And when you're talking about investment on these things, what's something that's going to draw people back to that set? And I think that's the situation we're even running into, because after even October of 2020, we still see that kind of flatline. And we'll see that historically prior to a lot of these sets before 2020 and what happened to afterwards. You're going to see a really similar graph pattern for most of these sets. So now I'm going to pull out Fates Collide. Fates Collide came out in May of 2016. Another one of those sets that was well perceived with the Alakazam. It had a good playability with that Alakazam card, and that was actually used in quite a bit of tournament play. Once again, at the beginning, you see quite a bit of movement. You see that bouncing, and that's where we talk about opportunity in these actual modern sets too. You could play the reprint to reprint game where you can buy stuff after a reprint at a lower price, sealed, whether it's an ETB, a booster box, which is the most common. You can buy it after a reprint and sell it right before the next reprint. And as you are in this hobby longer, you can almost understand or know when the next reprint's coming. A lot of us have been saying since about April that we were going to see an Evolving Skies reprint. We just didn't know when. And that's why a lot of us were kind of getting out of the market at that point and figured we would rebuy it after the reprint once again. And that's exactly what you need to learn when you're going through this, is understand the cycle of how Pokemon reprints things, understand the rotation of the Pokemon world, and know what goes between worlds to worlds, what goes out of rotation, and how that all works. And you can understand when to purchase and when to sell stuff. And it could be in a 5 to 6, 7 month window. So Fates Collide was another one, did really well at the beginning, a lot of up and down movement for the first year, almost 2 years. And then, of course, once it kind of got out of rotation or lost popularity, it wasn't used as much because the playability was going away. You had XY Evolutions come in also that actually gave more cards and gave them that chase for that Pokemon Go boom. And Fates Collide kind of slowed down. Once it got to that point, it plateaued. Once again, Fates Collide plateaued at $90. What did it do from the point of where it plateaued there in about 2017 all the way until 2020? It didn't move. We didn't see any movement on the set once again. So once these sets go out of rotation and that hype and FOMO goes away, we consistently see that slowdown or that removal of movement in these sets, and they become stagnant. XY Evolutions. Now this one's a great case study from November of 2020 or 2016. When this was released, it was really popular because of the fact it came out with Pokemon Go. We had the Pokemon Go boom with new people coming in, and of course, people chasing nostalgia had the opportunity to go back to the base set that they loved. So they were going after this pretty consistently for those base set cards. Now, what happened to Pokemon? What did Pokemon do to Evolutions after that print? They completely obliterated it. It was selling good. People were buying it. There was a lot of upward movement on this set, and they did the same thing to that they did with the Roaring Skies, and they completely crushed it with reprints to the point where there was so much stock that this dropped down to about $79 and did not move until literally October of 2020. You could have bought XY Evolutions in October of 2020 at the beginning of the month for $79. It did not move. Once again, another one of those sets. So once they get buried it in reprints, especially back then, it had no movement. There wasn't enough people looking for that set. There wasn't enough people in the market buying these sets and actually enjoying them. Now, once again, we have probably 4 to 5 times as many people in the hobby right now than we did back in 2016, even before 2020. But is it enough to make people continue to purchase these products, especially with the print rates that we're seeing with that $9.1 billion cards? Next one we're going to look at here is going to be Sun and Moon Burning Shadows. I thought this was a good one because the fact that it had that Rainbow Charizard. It was the first Rainbow Charizard to come out in the set. There's a lot of hype. There was a lot of people with speculation that the Charizards were stolen because of the hard pull rate that was involved into that set. Once again, that was released in August of 2018, and it was a huge set. A huge release. Everybody enjoyed it. People were really chasing that card. There was a lot of up and down movement, up and down sales on that. A lot of opportunities in that set. Even when I came into the hobby in 2019, that set was still moving around pretty decently to where you could get into it and purchase some booster boxes and sell some booster boxes on the waves up until it got out of print. Once again, once it got out of print, even at the end, the last year of its print, it flatlined. People lost interest. People moved on. People got on to Cosmic Eclipse. People went into Hidden Fates. People got into Unbroken Bonds and Unified Minds, and that set gets forgotten. That's consistently what we see. We see about a year or two of really good movement on a set, and then it starts to lose its popularity. Its hype starts to fall out. It runs out of tournament players because there's newer and better sets. There's counter sets to those sets, and people move on. And thus, that's what we consistently have seen in the past. Next one we're going to pull up in here is Sun and Moon Cosmic Eclipse. Now, Cosmic Eclipse was the last one of Sun and Moon. And I wanted to pull this one because of that trainer gallery and tag team cards that were inside of this set. Made it extremely popular when it came out. And we have lost the last reprint on this one. So this one is actually one that's missing a reprint at the end. And it was right before the actual market started to move. But as you can see, even though that market didn't move, the price of these booster boxes really didn't go up and down very much. They did. Between reprints, there was some good buying and selling opportunities. You can see it at the beginning of the graph there. But realistically, once again, it's another one of those sets that did not have a shooting point until October of 2020. Once again, once it got to that point, everybody got excited. Everybody started to jump in on it and wanted to get on that. And that's exactly what we see consistently on these sets. So once again, what is this telling us when we look at this data? It tells us that sealed product could become a really long haul. The other thing is too is that you have to come up to the realization that you cannot buy every sealed product and hold it forever and expect it to go up. Historically, that has not worked. You can sit there and try and find sets. I think that you'll have really good success right now finding sets that have a reason or a draw to it for people. Vivid Voltage. I know a lot of people would sit there and argue Vivid Voltage only has one chase card. Why would you want to put your money into Vivid Voltage and set on it? Because it has a chase card that in 10 to 20 years, 10 to 15 years, is going to draw back the people from the ages of 6 to 16. When these people become old enough to get expendable money and start getting back into the hobbies and start doing the things they love, what's the number one chase card do you think right now you could put out there on a poll that would come up as being the chase of Sword and Shield? The Rainbow Chunkachu. I think my son would tell you that. I think that a majority of people would say that that's the chase card still in this set. I know some people would say the Moonbryon is probably going to be your second one, and I agree. I think that card is going to be your second one with that evolution, but I still think the Chunkachu reigns supreme for chase cards. It's better than the Charizards guide, in my opinion. Charizards are in so many sets that people lose interest in it, but that Rainbow Chunkachu is going to hold it. That's why I think Vivid Voltage will do extremely well. The Evolving Skies, I think that Evolution alternate arts are going to draw people for years. These are sets that I think Pokemon are doing right. These alternate arts in certain sets are fantastic opportunities to purchase. Evolving Skies is going to be a really great set, especially 10 to 15 years down the road. When our kids get expendable money and get back into the hobby, they will go after those sets because they were fun. They have great artwork. They have great pull rates. They have great alternate arts of evolutions that are really popular. Rayquazas, Dragonites, a lot of stuff in that set that draws a lot of people into it. Brilliant Stars, that trainer gallery is fantastic. I think the trainer gallery in Brilliant Stars is better than Astral Radiance. I don't know what's going to be in Lost Origin yet, but I feel that that trainer gallery alone is going to bring people back into this. It bring people back to that set. Along with the V-Star Rainbow Charizard and that alternate art Charizard are all reasons that people are going to chase those sets. Thus why I would be investing into those. Shining Fates. I think that Shining Fates Charizard and that set in general, that Shiny Vault, will draw people back to it in the future. It's a fun set. It's fun pull rates. It's good pull rates and great opportunities in that set to have some fun. So once again, another draw to that set. These are the things you need to start looking at when it goes down to it. And don't hope for them short-term 5-year gains. Is Pokemon investment there? Yes. I think there's tons of Pokemon investment. It just determines on how long you want to hold product. Personally, I play a lot in the short game right now because that's how you make money to build accounts, to be able to continue to do this, even in a slower market. There's a good opportunity to buy a product on release, a sealed product, and sell it before the next reprint. Especially of these sets like Brilliant Stars, where there's the popularity of the chase. Once again, is Ancient Origins going to do it? From what I've seen so far, I don't know. I don't know if Ancient Origins is going to have enough pull for me to want to buy it on the beginning. I might let that set play out and see where it goes and just take my time on it. Pokemon Go, once again, product as much product as we were expecting to see, it's just not around, guys. I'm not seeing it in my area anyways, and I know there's something going on with MJ Holding in this area. With Walmart, nobody's stocking the shelves right now in our local Walmarts or Targets. GameStop has got some product, but very little. So I don't know how it is in your areas, but that's what we're seeing here. Once again, guys, this is the data. This is the information I like to share. This is where I like to jump on the double-edged sword and say, yes, there are some Pokemon investment opportunities, but historically, you can expect this. There are more people in the hobby. We could see some changes in that, but they also printed more product to compensate for that number of people in the hobby. So thus, we might see the exact same trends just with more product out there. So once again, guys, hopefully this helps you out. Hopefully it's some good information. If it was, hit that subscribe button, hit that notify, and last but not least, hit that like button, guys. We get 75 likes in this video. Greatly appreciated. Helps out a ton. And of course, it's free for you. Also, check out these 2 videos over here. I'll put them up for your information afterwards. And we will see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.